We back, season 2 of Builder of People podcast. Here's what I can promise you for season 2. We're going to be bigger. We're going to be badder. We're going to be better. And so today we are going to talk about really what is arguably one of the most important things that we as men must learn to understand. And it's this. As men, we must overcome women. Whereas we as men must lead, love, elevate, and transform our women to overcome fear. Let me prove it to you on why this is so important, both personally and professionally, and it's this. Number one, when you look in the good book tells us in Proverbs 31:3 that men must never give their strength to a woman. What is the word trying to tell us in that moment? Is exactly what it says, which is that we must not make our priority or our pursuit a woman. So then what are we supposed to use our strength on? Chasing God, chasing our purpose, right? And then ultimately love, leading, elevating, and transforming not only our women, but also our children's children. And so what that basically means, we as men have got to learn to be disciplined in all ways on all days. Why? Because when you're not disciplined, the opposite is distraction. And so giving up your strength to chase a woman, which is the worst thing, the stupidest thing, and it's why most men cannot keep a woman. And it has to do ultimately with one word, which is weakness. Because here's what happens. When a woman sees that you are not disciplined enough to chase God and chase your purpose, and you're distracted by chasing women, video games, drugs, alcohol, escapism, social media, whatever it is that you do to distract yourself, right? NFL, NBA, MLS, unnatural, commitments in terms of this is what you do. It comes down to the fact that as a man, you have got to be ultimately disciplined in chasing the things that matter most, because ultimately women only leave weak men. Weak, absolutely. A strong man who will love, lead, elevate, transform her through what? Through faith, through focus, through finances, through firmness, through steadiness to the vision, is ultimately what every woman is seeking, which is more than just survival. She wants to be relevant. She wants to be envied. She wants to be admired. She wants to be known for something very specific. And guess what? That begins and ends with a man. And so when we talk about a man overcoming women, now we need to focus on the ultimate thing that every woman must learn to overcome, which happens through the stewardship of Christ and the guidance of a godly man, is that she wants to learn to not be afraid. She wants to learn to overcome fear. And guess what? It is a man who chases God and chases purpose that activates that internal knowing that this man can and will ensure my survival. This man can and will ensure my significance in the world. She wants to be a part of an adventure. She doesn't want to be the adventure. And that's where weak boys get it wrong. And so here's what you have to understand. When we talk about a woman overcoming fear, fear is going to most be relevant to her based on what she sees and what she feels. Let me prove it to you. In Genesis 3, chapter 1, we see Satan tempting Eve. When you look at Genesis chapter 3, verse 6, the woman is convinced to sin by being disobedient to God of not eating from the tree of life, because the word tells us in Genesis 3:6 that she liked what she saw. So basically, what the enemy achieved with Eve is for her to look at what she saw and to doubt God's word as being real. And that is what we as men in chasing God and chasing our purpose must understand about helping our women to overcome fear, is that it is only done by you chasing God and chasing your purpose that you will allow her to overcome fear of what she sees and feels under your direction, which is to say, hey, baby, I don't care what it looked like. I don't care what it looked like in the natural. Supernatural is 1,000,000,000 times more real and more right. That's not even really a phrase, but I'm going to say it anyway, and more right than anything you can see and feel. Because as men, when we don't properly chase God and chase our purpose, and we allow our woman or our Eve to look at what she's seeing and feeling as truth, then guess what? Deception creeps in. And guess what? Now, because you lack that discipline, good sir, the distraction comes because you're allowing her to lead in critical matters when she was not anointed or qualified to do. So it wasn't a sin actually until Adam ate, because he foolishly followed when he should have led based on what God said. And so ultimately, what I need us as men to understand is that to lovely elevate and transform her, you must do it mentally by chasing God and chasing purpose. That means we're focusing on daily reading of the word, praying, meditating, not forsaking the assembly of ourselves with other believers. That's called a church service, whether it be digitally or online or in person. And then number two, we as men must never allow fear for our women, because here's the thing. Fear is a mind killer. Fear is a dream stealer. You must see through whatever that situation is, knowing that only when you have faith and courage by chasing God and your purpose, going through those situations is the very thing you need to do more than anything, because literally fear is an optical illusion. It's actually going through the thing that scares you most. By going through it, will you now actually see the path? See, the path is a double-sided mirror where you're only looking at yourself, but you got to press through it. What? With God and through the stewardship of your purpose, understanding that is, baby, when we work together, not looking at what we see or feel, is that when we stare fear right in the face, understanding that it is going through those things that will allow you to actually now see the path, only happens when you keep climbing the mountain, when you keep climbing the staircase. Because that is the magic, and that is the illusion that we as men must press through, and that we must lead and transform our women through likewise. With that being said, Build Our People podcast. I can't wait to see you in the next episode.